I have so much to say that I realize I probably ought to do this in a couple of different ways. Also, I probably need to talk quicker than I normally do because I like the fact that I try to talk calm, but here we go. See the beauty behind me? There's a beauty in front of me. I guess the first bit of this is the reason I'm going to say this. We lost some great people within the last week, and one of the big ones is Ozzy Osbourne. I grew up in rock and roll during an era where people like to dress up and be evil, and it was fake. I knew it was fake, and I thought it was dumb. It gained some excitement. I mean, and I'm talking like Wasp, Motley Crue, Slayer. What I really admired about bands like Metallica was they're like, nah, we're not dressing up. Now, some of these guys, especially like Metallica, is what led me into it, was creeping death. Parents were like, oh my gosh, die by hand. I creep across the land, killing firstborn males. Do you know what that means? Do you know who creeping death was? James Hetfield was raised so much on the Bible that he told the tale of Moses. Moses came back to Pharaoh. Moses went way over here, met God, and was told to go way back over here. By the way, if you don't straighten up. And Pharaoh's heart was hard. His heart was hard. So Moses was like, bring it all the way back down the desert. He climbed up and he went, what now, my dear Lord? Well, go back and tell him this. He went amongst his way. Pharaoh went, whatever. Right. Just went back and forth. Finally, God said, Now remember who Moses was. Well, if you don't know your Bible, you don't know what the hell I'm talking about. And I mean that almost verbatim. You don't know what the hell I'm talking about. So, runs back and forth. All right? So Moses knew. He went from the big place over to the slaves or the ghetto. And he was like, brothers and sisters, we gotta listen. It's coming. You gotta trust me. So they all ran and painted on their door frames with blood. And from the way we as human beings are now, we look at it as a fog that runs through. And those that did not have, by the way, here's what's funny. Think about how many years before the crucifixion this happened. More than you can conceive. What they did, and if you look at the way they painted those door frames, It was symbolic of the sign of the cross. And as creeping death came through, those that had that mark he passed over. Well, Pharaoh's son died. Broke them. Let the Hebrews loose. Moses took the Hebrews and ran. They spent 40 years in the desert, by the way. Because God knew we're human beings. You guys are a bunch of jerks. We, as human beings, are flawed beyond belief. Even then, when we appear to be chosen. So they ran amok. And then eventually, that's the tale of Creeping Death by Metallica. You look at all the bands that went and tried. You can tell big tales. Now, again, with Ozzy, everybody credits Ozzy for saying, I think it's something here forevermore or into eternity, or I don't know. People quote these lyrics. The guy that produced my music, he was like, look, Ted, this isn't Satanism. And he wrote a lyric, God is the only answer, God is the only way. And people credit Ozzy for writing these lyrics. No, it was the bass player for Black Sabbath that did that. Wrote some of the, in segments, really good Christian lyrics. Long before modern day contemporary Christian music was there. Yet they were considered evil. All right, they played a game. We played a game. And then you watch Ozzy through his life. Man was a maniac. But if you really hear about the real him, he almost was a puppet. And everybody credits Sharon for loving him, but almost Sharon was like, just go, Ozzy, just go. But then you see him sit next to people, and he was adorable. Who wouldn't want to just sit next to him? But bang, 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 bang. He was just... And at the end of his life, I'm going to implore you to look upon this. And this is what's going to get a lot of people mad. Jesus did tell a parable about how there will be a man in the field and he will till, or a slave, let's put it that way, and he will go out and work. I'll give you $4. I'm paraphrasing bad on this one. I'll give you 4 shillings, $4, whatever it is. And you work all day, you'll get that. Halfway through the day, he goes, hey, you guys, I'll give you 4 shillings, $4, whatever. And they come into the field, and these guys are like, hey, what are you getting paid? Same as you're getting paid, I guess. Boom. Then, third quarter. Hey, you guys come in. What are you getting paid? Everybody that was guaranteed their day's work was angry. But wasn't every promise kept? Look, I'm saying there are things that literally in the last month or so of Ozzy's life, he got very excited that someone gave him a Bible with his name on it. And one of the reasons why the guy did it, Ozzy goes, I can't possibly understand what they're talking in the old English, and I don't know. I'm not smart enough. This guy went, okay, I'll give you this version of it. I watch you people get mad about, oh, the Bible is translated in this version, and this version, and this version. Do you still want it to be in Latin? Are you mad at Martin Luther? Do you want only the priests to translate to you? Do you want only the kings to translate to you the glory of God? Or are you happy there are warriors within our tribes? Now, maybe the translations are loose. Or do you want somebody to hear the gospel minutes before they die and get that gold? You can't be mad about that. You can't. And if you're mad about that, you were never in the game for the right reason. This is life, friends. This is beauty. This is creation. This is love. You know, arguing about what color Jesus is. You're arguing about who's more righteous than others. I don't like the AI stuff that shows like Ozzy and Hendrix and like a bunch of people in heaven. It really does irritate me because we cannot assume that. That's an affirmation. The story, and we need to put this down, like read the writings, read the real data, that if Ozzy did find Jesus, then Jesus who he'll meet. But just because you like somebody doesn't mean they're going to heaven. And I'm talking about your mom, your grandma, or you know what I mean? You can't do that. You can't. You're doing yourself an injustice because then you're starting to watch cartoons. Now, if he did, which I pray he did, because he gave me a lot of good times. That's my part one in this. I'm going to make a part two. And anybody that has ears, I pray you hear.